The white horizon of the Rann of Kutch in Gujarat, India, stretches across the landscape, the largest salt desert on Earth. This single desert produces a staggering 70. The chemical toll of the salt is so profound that local lore claims an agaria's feet become toughened to the point that they will not burn on a traditional funeral pyre. This community produces the backbone of a national industry, yet the physical cost leaves them with permanent damage and deep economic instability. To cultivate the crop, farmers must use a heavy rake called a danatara. They drag it through the brine for 2 hours every day in every field to ensure the salt crystals do not bond permanently to the earth. The economic return for this labor is minimal. For a 20-kilogram load of raw salt, an agaria farmer earns only 1 rupee. By the time that same salt reaches a consumer in a cleaned 500-gram packet, the price has risen to 20 rupees. While this markup covers the costs of refining, iodine fortification, and transport, very little of that final value reaches the desert. This disparity keeps agaria families at the most vulnerable point of the supply chain, where the sheer volume of their output fails to translate into a living wage. Living on the salt pans means existing without modern infrastructure. There is no power grid, no piped water, and cellular networks do not reach this far into the desert. To counter the monochromatic white of their environment, the agaria maintain a vibrant material culture. Their traditional garments are filled with intricate embroidery and small reflective mirrors. These mirrors are also functional tools. Without phone service, the community uses pocket mirrors to flash signals across the desert. A sequence of 3 flashes serves as a high-priority signal to call for immediate help. Even education has been adapted for this nomadic lifestyle. A fleet of 35 school buses travels deep into the Rann, acting as mobile classrooms so children can continue their studies while their families work the harvest. Because the state provides limited support, the agaria rely on these indigenous solutions to bridge the gap in basic services and communication. Their way of life faces a legal challenge that dates back to 1973, when the area was declared a wild-ass sanctuary. This environmental law technically prohibited the traditional salt farming that had occurred on this land for centuries. Now, a second threat is emerging. Large-scale corporate solar parks are moving into the Rann, seeking to utilize the vast flat terrain for renewable energy production. The community is now caught between environmental conservation laws on one side and industrial green energy expansion on the other, leaving little room for their ancestral trade. In 1930, Mahatma Gandhi used salt as the primary symbol of India's struggle for independence. By breaking the British salt laws, he showed that this simple mineral was central to the nation's identity and its right to self-rule. Despite that historical legacy, the people who actually harvest the salt today lack the basic protections of land ownership, access to consistent healthcare, and access to clean water. It is a stark irony. The very commodity that helped define India's freedom is still being extracted by a community that has yet to see that same level of security and recognition.